everyone, my name is Caffrey and welcome back to what I like to call the cozy corner on YouTube, where we discuss everything about photography, film cameras, and cinema in general. I hope you guys are well, and with the weather being so lovely today, I thought why not shoot a quick little video for you guys, something that I wanted to talk about and shoot a video on for a few days now, and this is my new Sekonic light meter. Alright, so first things first, what is a light meter, let alone a Sekonic Flashmate light meter? Basically, if you have a film camera where there is no built-in light meter, a completely manual film camera, of course, unlike digital cameras, you're not able to see how your photo looks like, especially whether or not it's exposed properly. That's where having an external light meter can be very helpful, because you'll just basically hold it up against your subject and it will take some exposure readings for you. Depending on your light meter, it may be aperture priority, shutter priority, so on and so forth, but you'll basically have your shutter speed, ISO and aperture all listed down for you so that you know your photo is properly exposed. And if you watch my videos, then you would know that I recently bought a Canon A1 and that has a fully manual mode, my first film camera with a fully manual mode. So I thought right now is the perfect time to buy an external light meter, learn more about it and actually put it to good use. Now there are many types of light meters that you can buy, but one light meter that really stood out to me throughout the years as I was learning more about film photography on YouTube was the Sekonic light meter. I believe I first came across it on Willem Verbeeck's channel and a few other YouTubers, but really watching them use that, it really got me curious, and I'm just envious that they have that. And I really wanted to get my hands in it, but I only had a rangefinder at the time, a Minolta Uniomat, and it wasn't fully manual, so there was no point in me getting it. But times have changed. I really wanted to get my hands in it, but I wasn't able to find a place to buy it at the time, especially for a decent price. That was until a few weeks ago, where I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace. And if you guys know me, you know that I absolutely love Facebook Marketplace, a great bargain for anything. And without even searching for it, I saw a listing for a Sekonic Flashmate L-308S, and I was fortunate enough to get it for 7,000 pesos, which is about $119, $120. I might be completely wrong, who knows, but definitely just over $100 or so. That is a great price for the Sekonic Flashmate, mainly because it came in its original packaging, absolutely everything included, basically all of the original parts that it came with from 2006. And I'm not gonna lie, I got very lucky there, because apparently the seller actually watches my videos. He watched the long weekend bag review that I did a few months or a year or so back. It's crazy to think that the people that I'm buying film camera gear from actually watch my videos and are part of this community. I absolutely love this community, talking to you guys on Instagram and just learning a lot more about film photography in general, because a lot of you guys know way more than I do, and having this cool community here in this cozy corner of YouTube, it's awesome. So thank you guys for all of you that do watch. Again, I got the Sekonic Flashmate L-308S, came out in 2006, and it comes in a very cool white and blue box. But one thing that I found very interesting is that on the side of the box here, it says made in the Philippines. That isn't normal. I don't usually see that, especially for the Sekonic light meter. I don't know how it was rolled out, if the Sekonic branch in each country manufactured it themselves, or I don't know. But the fact that I got it in the Philippines and it's made in the Philippines, I thought that was a really cool detail. Besides that, the box is pretty standard. It has the battery not included sign. Fortunately, my one did come with a battery, but let's see what's inside and actually do go through it. As soon as you open this cardboard flap, the first thing I see is a very nice note here. One of you guys, his name is John. He says, "Hi Cameron, here is your new parentheses sort of light meter. May it bring you joy in your photography and hopefully prevent wasted frames and shots. Let me know if you," he has really cursive handwriting, "let me know if there are any issues, and if you will ever be Manila, hit me up and maybe we can shoot." 100% John, I would definitely reach out to you, man, whenever I do get to Manila. PS, included a roll of old and very expired film, Lomo 400 120 for when you inevitably get into medium format. That's so kind of you, man. As I did mention that I do really want to get into medium format film cameras. My next camera that I really want on my list is a Mamiya RB67 or an RZ or RZ67. That's very thoughtful of you, John. Thank you so much, man. You didn't need to do that. Right underneath his lovely letter and the medium format film, we have the manual, which is awesome because again, it's like I'm unboxing it in 2006. Just basically lists everything down, tells you what each button is. There's also a safety precaution that it comes with, and lastly, if this looks like a receipt, yeah, it comes with a sales invoice that is actually like John's actual sale invoice. Fortunately, with the days that we live in, we don't have to actually like read the manual this time. Like in my case, I just to learn more about this light meter on YouTube, but who knows, I definitely might take a peek at this manual because there's always something in there that they don't discuss in the videos, you know? And here you have it, the Sekonic Flashmate L-308S light meter, as well as all of its accessories. So let's get the light meter and we'll put it to the side for now and just look at these accessories. The first one is of course like a pocket for the light meter itself, kind of like a nice casing, has the Sekonic brand on it and has like this little handle at the back. You also have the strap for the Sekonic light meter that you can just place on the bottom, I believe, and just hang it around your neck. Especially during shoots, this is going to be very convenient where it's just around your neck and you can use it at hand, you know? This might be my identity, like actually just wearing this everywhere I go. I'm declaring it now. That's my new personality. Let's do it. Yeah, let's go. And lastly, there is this mini cute little bag here, and it has the Sekonic branding on it as well. There's something inside. So I just ChatGPT'd it, and it's basically just a Lumisphere. So I think it is an extra attachment for one that I have on the light meter itself. I may be mistaken, but that's what ChatGPT is saying. It's basically just a Lumisphere. So I have my notes here, and let's talk about this light meter. And the description for this S version is that it's improved with enhanced digital readouts and cine mode, which is basically video mode. It's also shutter priority, which basically means we select the shutter speed as well as ISO. We do our reading and the light meter will tell us the aperture. On top you have your power button, which you basically just have to hold down for around 2 seconds and the light meter will turn on. The very first thing you want to do, I saw this online, is that you want to hold down the power button as well as the mode button, which is located directly underneath, and you can basically adjust your EV value, which is your exposure value, and match it to your camera. And then from there, that's where you can start taking proper readings, because if you put the wrong EV value, you basically just might mess up every reading after that. At the very bottom of the screen, you have your ISO button, which basically if you were to hold that down and press up and down on the sides here, you can basically set your ISO. In my case, I usually shoot around a 400 ISO, sometimes 200, but I'll put it at 4 over here. And above the up and down button, you have that one button that will basically take the reading for you. So once you set your ISO and your shutter speed, you place this light meter where it needs to be, press that button, and it will tell you your aperture. And before we get into the screen and different modes, the last thing you can't really ignore is this little sliding contraption here. These are basically your 2 reading settings, or how you're going to get your exposure reading. Let me explain. There are 2 ways to take an exposure reading with this light meter, and they are called incident as well as reflective. So incident versus reflective metering, what's the difference? So as you can see here, this white ball looking dome that slides up and down, this is called an omnisphere, and this is for incident metering. Incident metering is used when your subject kind of has discontinuous tones. For example, there may be a lot of white, a lot of black, or white and all black, and it will basically just confuse your light meter. Therefore, you want to use this omnisphere here. Once you set your shutter speed as well as your ISO, you want to have this slid right next to the power button and then place it right next to your subject facing the camera like I'm doing right now, and then that's when you press that button and get your reading. Now that's the first, what I like to call direction of metering, where you place it literally right next to your subject, person or object, again facing directly right back to the camera and pressing that button, making sure that this omnisphere is right next to the power button. Second, we have reflective metering, which very similar to its name, it basically just does reflect. For reflective metering, what you would want to do is take this omnisphere, slide it to the other side of the light meter, and you'll see the smaller circle placed underneath that kind of looks like a mirror if you look into it, and you essentially just want to point the light meter at your subject, aka what you're shooting, and then press the button after you set your shutter speed and ISO. So again, incident metering is basically right next to the subject and pointing towards the camera, and then reflective metering is away from the subject, more or less closer to the camera, acting like the camera itself and pointing towards the subject. On the top left hand side of the screen, you will see 3 modes, and the very first is a sun icon, and that's basically ambient lighting. The mode right next to that under the lightning icon is a trigger flash, where if you're doing flash photography, the flash itself will trigger an exposure reading. And the last mode is still under the lightning icon, but this time with a C on it, and it lets you fire flash through the PC connection that's located at the bottom of this light meter here. Now that's really it. Like I mentioned, this is a shutter priority light meter, but that's not really a problem, because let's say you want to have aperture priority, you get your reading and you basically just press up and down until you get the aperture you want, and you'll find that it gives you the shutter speed that you need to shoot at that aperture. So it really isn't an issue that this is a shutter priority light meter. meter, because just by the pressing of a few buttons, you'll get that aperture that you had in mind. Now, if you guys are quite aware about the Sekonic light meters, you would know that there is a more updated version, aka a brand new version, quote unquote kind of brand new version. That is the L-308S, and there's a few differences between the two that I thought were worth sharing. Having it listed down here, the first is really a display and interface. So the S has a simpler, more basic display, while the X features a more advanced and customizable interface. Me personally, I like things very simple, so no problem with me having the S. Now, in terms of measurement modes, both measure incident and reflected light, but the X also supports flash metering, TTL and manual, and color temperature readings. And additionally, with the advanced features, the X includes cine mode for video, and it has more customizable settings, which I'll get into here. But with the X's cine mode, it offers more refined features for hybrid photo and cine shooters. If you're primarily working in cinematography and require a more versatile meter, the X might be worth considering. The X also offers shutter as well as aperture priority, but again, that's not really a big deal because you can get the aperture you want by pressing a few buttons here. But the main thing that really makes me think that the S, or the one that I have right now, is far more worth it than the X is mainly due to the price. Looking at it online, the S can usually go for $189 to $200, but the X can go for around $239, $240 or so. And that's not a huge jump, but I think for the features, if you really are like an advanced filmmaker or photographer and you really do need those features, then by all means go ahead and get the X. But for someone like me who just shoots casually and does it mainly for passion projects, the S definitely does suffice. But yeah, that's mainly it. I really wanted to shoot a short video today, just a very nice and quick one, just to share with you guys my new Sekonic light meter, talk about a little bit on how it works, and hopefully that was a little bit informative for you guys. Again, apologies, it's not a very in-depth review, but I just wanted this to be a very casual video. Thank you so much, John, for being so kind in preparing this light meter for me. I really do appreciate you and everybody else that is watching. It really does mean a lot. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. Liking this video lets other audiences know that these videos are worth watching, and be sure to follow me on Instagram at Caffrey Cameron. Whenever I do post a video, those of you on there will be the first to know. I will see you all in the next week or two for another video. Take care, drink your water, goodbye.